Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Am I audible? Hi, everyone. Uh, I'm so excited to kickstart this live stream. Okay, so if you are joining live, feel free to send some greetings in the chat and also tell us where you are joining from. So just wait for like 1 minute before we proceed. Can everyone confirm if I'm audible? Awesome, awesome. So let me know where you are coming from or where you're joining from. I see we have Saiga, we have Joshi, we have Sahil, we have Code with AK. Whoa, what a fantastic username. We have Abu. Hello, Abu. How you doing? We have Imam. Hello. We have Sahil. Hi, we have really wonderful folks. Please feel free to like let me know where you're joining from. So we're gonna wait for a few minutes before we, get started. Let's just wait for 2 minutes, and then we're gonna get started. I see we have really amazing people joining from India. I'm a big fan of India. We have really amazing people also from India in the community. So special shout out to you folks. We have someone joining from Pakistan. Hey Abu, how you doing? Assalamu alaikum, brother. Uh, we have Tuli. How Tuli? What are you doing? You're not supposed to be here. Uh, just kidding. So we have Payal. Hello, Payal. How you doing? Thanks for joining. We have Sasi. So Sasi is also joining from India. We have Ayush. I'm not sure if it is the Ayush I know from the community, but regardless, hello Ayush. We have Tandip Adtech. Hello. Okay. Thanks for joining. We're gonna have a wonderful session. Okay, we have Rohit. Hey, Rohit, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining. We're gonna get started shortly. We're just gonna wait for 2 more minutes, right? I promise 2 1 minutes, and we're gonna get started. Just 2 more minutes. Keep the greetings coming. We have Kishan. Hey, Kishan, where are you joining from? We have Singh. I'm horrible with pronunciation, so please bear with me. I don't mean to pronounce your name wrongly. I'm just really excited to have all of you here join me live. Um, okay, we have just 1 more minute. Oh, we have Manish. Hey, how you doing, Manish? Thanks for joining. So excited to see you here. We have Sonali. Hi, where you joining from, Sonali? How you doing? So we have just 1 more minute before we get started. If all of those questions, just keep those questions, please. I'm going to be answering a lot of GSoC questions, and I know a lot of you have these questions already burning in your mind. So I promise to answer a lot of these questions today. So it's going to be an interesting session. We have Janime J. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Where are you joining from? We have Summit. Hi, Summit. I think I know you. I'm not sure. I mean, we have a lot of. I think we have a Summit in the community already. Hi, Summit. Where you joining from? Oh, we have Omar from Egypt. Hi, how you doing? So nice to see my African brother. So I'm also based. I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria. So I'm also from Africa. We have Sonali. Okay, Sonali is from India. Thanks for joining, Sonali. So nice to see you. Um, okay, final minute before we get started. Let's see if we're gonna have more people join. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be an interesting session. I promise you that. All of those questions that you have in your mind are gonna be answered. Uh, so yeah, so okay, let's get started. We've waited patiently well enough, so let's just get started. So the first thing I have to say, okay, yeah, Summit, it's you. Oh, cool. I know one Summit from the community already. Okay, let's just get started. So before we get started, if you are not currently following Async API, please feel free to follow us or subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on LinkedIn. We have social on Twitter also. Feel free to check out Async API on Twitter. Give us a follow up. We would really appreciate that. So if you have any question, please feel free to leave the questions in the chat. Also, let's make this thing lovely. Let's respect each other. This session is meant to be insightful and just community driven. So please let's just respect each other. If you have any question, feel free to leave them in the chat. I'm really looking at the chat so I can really see every question, and I will try my best to answer every question you might have posted in the chat. So yeah, so let's get started. So I know all of you are here today just to because you are interested in Google Summer of Code. The Sync API is back again this year, so we got accepted again this year to participate as an organization in GSoC. And I know a lot of you here are really coming for that, and so you have a lot of questions. So yeah, so the purpose of this train is for me to share my insights on how to make you experience the best of Google Summer of Code this year, right? So it doesn't even have to be a sync API. This could also apply to any organization out there. But this stream is solely focused on the sync API. But I believe the same methods apply for every organizations out there. So a quick introduction. I'm going to do a quick introduction about myself. So I'm Ace. I do develop advocacy at Async API. I also lead these programs. So I lead mentorship program at Async API. So some of these mentorship programs includes Google Summer of Code, Async API mentorship program. So we have a lot of these programs. We also have like Oktoberfest that happens every October. So we have a lot of these really nice programs that can help you grow while contributing to open source. So I lead this initiative in Async API. So alongside me, I have my own very favorite person in the community, Tuli. She's a community manager at Async API, and she also, with the love in her heart, she supports me in leading this program. So I used to say to her, I don't know why she doesn't believe it, without Tuli, this program will not be possible. So she's a really amazing person. So yeah, special shout out to Tuli. So we both run this program. So with the goal of helping students or contributors like yourself succeed through open source. So why GSoC? I mean, like obviously, most of you just want the money. So I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, the money is cool. But why GSoC? The whole purpose of GSoC is so we can have more open source contributors. And why do we need more open source contributors? Because we need more open source contributors because of the safety and growth of the open source ecosystem, right? So that's why we need more open source contributors, and that is why GSoC exists. That's why GSoC decides to bring out this amount of money every year just to sustain the growth of open source. And by doing that, it allows us to discover, really, really passionate open source lovers, really smart people like yourselves in the chat, or really amazing people that we've already. I mean, I'm talking from experience. We've had really amazing candidates from GSoC. So that is the reason why Async API is also participating in GSoC, because with GSoC we've had amazing contributions. We've had maintainers come from GSoC. So we've had like really wonderful folks, and that is why Async API is so eager to participate in GSoC. So yeah, outside of the money, GSoC is fun. So if you are coming with a mindset of, oh, GSoC, I want to make money, I mean, you would make money, but I think you should also come with the mindset of, oh, it's GSoC. I want to learn. I want to grow through open source, which is the sole purpose of Google Summer of Code. So I'm going to be taking questions after the presentation. So please feel free to keep the questions coming. So the next slide I would love to say is something I call first impressions are key, which a lot of people miss a lot. So during the GSoC rush, a lot of candidates, a lot of students do something really awkward, right? They want to get noticed quickly, right? So what do? They just, look for these organizations, for example, it's in KPI, and then they join us on Slack, and they just keep spamming messages, doing all of these things that are not supposed to be done. Some of these people don't even go through the Slack etiquette. We have a Slack etiquette, which the sole purpose of the Slack etiquette is to respect others and understand how to interact using Slack, our Slack channel to be precise. So first impressions are key. So if you are one of these people that during GSoC, you just, start giving wrong impressions. I mean, you might think you're doing the right thing, but eventually you're doing the wrong thing, right? So you need to give a very good first impression. And what do I mean by a very good first impression? A very good first impression, in my sense, is respecting people's time, right? So you need to understand that you are joining Slack and you are, sending messages in every channel. A good first impression would be you join Slack, you go to the introduction channel, which of course you would say immediately you join our Slack channel. You go to the introduction channel, you introduce yourself properly. I'm saying, oh, Ace, hello everyone, I'm Ace. I am a software engineer. I'm a student in social university. I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria. I love open source. I heard about testing KPI through Google Summer of Code, and I'm interested in contributing. Right, that is enough for an introduction, right? So don't go ahead and then, after you've done your introduction in the introduction channel, then you just go to the next channel, let's say like the general channel, and you just keep introducing yourself, and you just keep like sending unnecessary messages. We consider that as spamming, right? Which is one of the do's of the async API Slack etiquette, right? So if you're already doing that, you need to stop doing that. That is really bad practice. Don't do that, okay? Just introduce yourself properly, and yeah, just introduce yourself properly. So that's why I say first impressions are key. So the best advice, which is this particular quote here, right? I say the best advice I was given is just another conversation with another human being, right? So me myself, I had already participated in GSoC once before, and so I'm also like saying all of these things based on experience as a GSoC candidate. So most people, when you are interested in a project, right, and then you see, oh, okay, I have this project I'm really interested in, and then you go to the you go ahead and then send the maintainer or the mentor of that particular project a DM, right? And then you are just waiting for the person to respond. And when you see the person isn't responding, you just keep buzzing the person, you just keep buzzing the person. I mean, don't do that, right? So these maintainers are also humans, right? They have other things to do outside of GSoC, right? And if you forget, you need to remember that open source, people that are maintaining open source or some of these open source projects also have their full-time jobs, right? They have lives outside of the projects. They have families. They have things. They have other aspects of their lives, right? So because it is GSoC, it doesn't mean they have to like prioritize you, right? Honestly, you're not a priority. I mean, I have to just say that boldly. So you're not a priority to them, because even if you don't come, they would still, maintain and build these projects, right? So don't over value yourself to the extent that you start having conversations with these mentors or these maintainers and forget that these people are also human beings, right? They get overwhelming easily. And if you know, and if you realize that you're not the only one doing this, right? So imagine there are hundreds of other candidates also doing the same thing. So you shouldn't really do that. So you need to understand that you are having a conversation with another human being just like yourself. So you need to treat them with respect. You need to treat them with humility and be really nice about your process to talking to maintainers or to mentors of a particular project. Um, so another thing I want to like point out is actually questions. Right? So I see a lot of people when you come to participate in Google Summer of Code, you all don't really ask articulative questions, right? Which is really bad practice, which is also something that doesn't make you stand out, right? So most people come to ask questions that could have been easily accessible if they had just done their own part of the research, right? A lot of people, for instance, so this is actually a question I got from one of my projects, which to me is an outstanding question, right? So for instance, I'm going to be a mentor for the Async API AI assistant project. And what I realize in most people that are really interested in this particular project is once they come to the project, oh, they say, oh, this is really a really nice project. I want to contribute to this project. They just go ahead and then, start opening a pull request, doing all sort of unnecessary things, right? So it doesn't make sense. Like if you are doing that already, I mean, I will not be interested in you as a candidate, right? Because first and first, I really want to see if you have an understanding of the project you want to contribute to, right? So if you just go ahead and say, oh, hey, because you have experience, writing LLMs, which I really don't care about. Or you have, this vast experience working with AIs and all this kind of stuff. And then because you saw this issue in the GSoC proposal, then the next thing you're doing is to start opening a pull request, trying to solve the issue, right? That is so wrong, right? How am I supposed to understand you have basic knowledge or the required knowledge to actually incorporate this particular project, right? So the first thing is when you're reaching out to a mentor about a specific project, you need to ask really good questions, right? So these questions basically indicates to your mentor that you really are curious and not just like interested, you're also curious to understand what are the requirements for this project, right? So don't just go straight into drafting your proposal and then sending it to the mentor for review, or you start opening a pull request and disturbing the mentor to like review your pull request for a project that is not even selected yet for GSoC, right? But you need to start asking outstanding questions because you need to stand out from the rest of the candidates interested in a particular project. So you need to, in order for you to stand out, one of the main things you need to do is to ask standout questions. Please do not ask questions that are like that could easily, or that you can get the result by just doing a quick Google search or by just like reading the contribution guide. Do your own homework before you reach out to mentors for questions, and that is why sometimes most of these mentors don't respond to you. So if you're already doing that, asking basic questions or asking questions that are unnecessary, you are really jeopardizing your chances of getting selected. So if you are doing that already, you need to stop. I mean it. Stop. Don't do it. So that is one thing I also want to mention. Stand out with questions. Ask questions that really show how much interest you have in that particular project. This also like makes the mentor notices you, right? The mentor is going to notice you and say, "Oh, this person is asking some really interesting questions. I haven't actually sat down myself and ask or consider, right?" So ask standard questions. Don't just go ahead and start like opening pull requests or doing all these sort of things. So the next thing I also want to talk about is the capacity to schedule one-on-one with mentors, right? But you realize how I said all of these things before I go to this point, right? How you should understand that mentors are also like humans. You should understand that asking really good, solid questions is going to make you stand out. So if you are doing these best practices, you have the chance of even having to schedule a one-on-one chat with mentors. I mean, doing GSoC, I've actually have one-on-one conversations with some of these contributors, which is really fascinating. And now I'm saying out of 100 people or 100 contributors that reached out to me concerning my projects, I've said, like, I'm pretty sure I've had over like 10 one-on-ones with some of these contributors. And the reason why some of these one-on-ones I was able to have them was because the contributors or the student actually picked my interest, right? And the way they were able to pick my interest, that I was able to schedule one-on-ones with them, is because I've seen the way they are communicating, right? They really communicate effectively. I've seen their approach to problem solving. That they don't just go, like most of these candidates I've had one-on-one meetings with, don't go ahead and send me proposals and say, hey, I want to review it. No, these people I'm having one-on-one calls with are people that I really find interested, that I see, oh, they really have a solid understanding and curiosity about the particular project at hand. So if you are doing all of these things, if you are considering that, oh, you need to be smart with your approach to reaching out to mentors, to communicating, you will have the opportunity to even ask some of these mentors to schedule a one-on-one call with you, right? So that is one thing also, that's one of the things having a really, really lucrative conversation with mentors is going to yield. You have the opportunity to schedule one-on-one calls with mentors. So which because it still brings us back to establishing good relationships. So you need to also think that there is life outside GSoC. So if you, I mean, let's look at it this way, right? So we have, like, I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure about the numbers, but I'm sure we have over thousands of interested Google Summer of Code candidates, right? So how do you think you can stand out, right? So imagine, what are the odds you're gonna get accepted, right? So does that mean if you did not get accepted, that is the end of your open source journey? No, right? That shouldn't be the case. So even if you don't get accepted, you use this opportunity to build good relationship with mentors, with maintainers, with community members, right? It's not even mentors and maintainers. It's also like other community members, right? Use this opportunity to build good relationship, not because it's GSoC, but because it is open source, right? So establish good relationships. So yeah, so now, which brings us to our next step, which I know like a lot of you are already waiting for, which is a making outstanding contribution. So this is a really key part of Google Summer of Code, which I feel a lot of folks are really, really missing out on a lot. I mean, I've seen it, so I have to just mention it. So before we continue, I have a couple of questions. So let me quickly answer them. So we have a question from Jaishri. I'm not sure if I'm correct. Can you please let us know about the async API's design principles? So this call is solely for Google Summer of Code. So I won't be answering that question here. So if you have that question, you can reach out to me on Slack, and then I can point you to the right direction on how to go about that. So the next question is, what's the long-term vision for the async API conference UI kit? Will it be used beyond the conference website for other async API projects? So I'm going to come back to that also. I don't want to answer that right now. These are some of the questions I want to answer after the stream. So we have another question that says, how many contributors will be selected for the project listed in Async API? So the amount of contributors that are going to be selected for the project listed in Async API is equals to the amount of projects that get selected. So if you come in for GSoC, you need to have that at the back of your mind that we are still, organizations have been announced, but organization slot has not been assigned. So because we have let's say we have like 7 projects for GSoC, doesn't mean all 7 of those projects are going to make it for GSoC, right? So it depends on the amount of slots Async API as an organization gets, that will determine what amount of projects are going to make it and the amount of contributors that are going to get selected for the program. I hope that answers the question. So we have another question. For each project, one person will be selected for only few projects from the listed idea. Yeah, I already answered the question, so it's the same thing. So we have another question from Paya. What's your biggest piece of advice for someone aiming to get selected in GSoC under a KPI? Yes, so that is why you need to be in this stream. I've answered some of these questions by saying establishing a good relationship with the mentors and other community members. That's one valid thing you need to do, right? Don't You need to really, really establish a good relationship. It's an opportunity, so you need to take it. So for other advice, I'm going to continue with the slides, and then if you have any question, you can keep coming. So making outstanding contribution is a huge part of open source, especially Google Summer of Code, right? But what does outstanding contribution mean? What am I saying? I know you might be saying, "Oh, Ace, what do you mean outstanding contribution? Isn't not just opening pull requests and what other thing could I have done to make an outstanding contribution?" So which brings us back to the next slide, which is to first familiarize yourself with the project. So if you are interested in Google Summer of Code and then you see, oh, there's a particular project, you need to first familiarize yourself with the project. So don't just go ahead and try to open a pull request without really understanding how the project is structured, without getting yourself familiarized with the code base, without getting yourself familiarized with the context behind the whole project, right? So familiarize yourself with the project before going ahead to open a pull request. It's really important. So the next thing you want to do after you familiarize yourself with the project is follow the structure. So I have this particular structure. I have this particular process, which I'm going to break down to you. So most people, you want to raise a pull request, right? You want your pull request to get merged, but most of these Google Summer of contributors are doing it the wrong way, right? And they're doing it the wrong way, that they are jeopardizing their efforts in getting selected for Google Summer of Code. So the first thing you want to do before you can have a successful pull request is, before you start, you need to first read the contribution guide. So this doesn't even apply. This is not just about API. This is also about other open source communities, right? So most open source communities have contributing guidelines that helps you, that guides you in how to make an effective contribution, right? So most candidates miss this aspect, right? They don't even read the guides. They just, go ahead and open a pull request, which is really, really wrong. And at the end of the day, they make a wrong pull request. They don't follow the correct conventional commits. They don't follow the right way to open a pull request. And all of these things, which are already documented in the guide, which would have saved you a lot of time and effort if you had just read the guide, right? So the next one is, after you read the guide, you want to go ahead and look for issues, right? So the problem, the problem with this GSoC that I've seen with a lot of candidates is when it comes to issues, right? So you need to understand that before you can go ahead to pick an issue, you need to get the issue assigned to you first. So going ahead to just say, oh, there's an issue, I want to quickly fix it, and then you go ahead and open a pull request, and then at the end of the day, the particular issue you're opening a pull request for has more than one pull request, because other candidates that are thinking just like you are already doing that, right? So you don't want to just go ahead because you found an issue. You just want to go ahead and start contributing to that issue. You need to get the issue assigned to you, which I believe is what a lot of other open source communities or other open source organization does. You see an issue, you show interest in the issue, right? Show interest in the issue, wait for the issue to be delegated to you. And I know you might be saying, oh, Ace, but wait, if I say I'm interested in an issue and someone is also interested in an issue, so 5 people interested in a single issue, and then how can I ensure I get the issue assigned to me? And that is where the discussion comes in, right? So I see a lot of people, when they see an issue, they say, oh, I'm interested, can I get this issue assigned to me? Why should I assign the issue to you if I have 4 other contributors saying the same thing? Hey, Ace, assign this issue to me. Hey, Ace, assign this issue to me. Hey, Ace, assign this issue to me. No. So you need to stand out from the rest of these candidates, right? So when you see an issue, before you, even just by saying, hey, Ace, assign this issue to me, is not going to get the issue assigned to you. So the most important thing you need to do is have a discussion about that issue with the mentor or with the maintainer or with the code owners of that particular project. So when you see an issue that says, oh, H1 is not working, someone fix it, right? Of course, of course you can fix it, but you also need to show your ability to communicate. And these are the things that mentors are looking for in a candidate, right? So when you open an issue or when you see an issue already open and you're interested in the issue, don't go ahead and just open a pull request, right? Wait for the issue to get assigned to you. While you are interested in the issue, make reasonable discussion around the issue. Let the mentor see your understanding of the issue. And then if the mentor says you have a good understanding of the issue, the mentor will definitely assign the issue to you. And what that also does for you is it also makes you get noticeable, right? So if I'm a maintainer of a particular project and I see before let's say we have let's use someone from the chat for example, and I see Rohit, right? So and I'm saying, oh, Rohit is really interested in this particular issue, right? But then Rohit didn't just say, hey, assign this issue to me, right? Rohit also emphasized on the measures to get that issue resolved. What are some things needed to how the issue like will be resolved, right? So Rohit gave me a good reason or a good explanation, or let's say a good discussion on how to resolve this issue. And what happens, what do I do as a mentor? If I have any question concerning Rohit's process to resolving that issue, I'm going to leave a comment. I'm going to have a conversation with Rohit. And what is going to happen? We're going to have a discussion. And how does that make Rohit stand out from the rest of the people? Because Rohit didn't just say, hey, I'm interested in this issue. Rohit also had a discussion about the issue, right? It's really important. It's really important. That way you can really stand out from the rest of the candidates that are also like just saying, hey, I'm interested in this issue. So after you have a discussion about a particular issue, and let's say you have the issue eventually assigned to you, then the next thing you want to do, of course, is set up your developer environment, ensure like your project is running properly. And if you have any questions regarding setting up your project repository, you can definitely just, leave a comment also in the issue. The maintainers, the code owners will be willing to help you. We are always looking for contributors that are really, really passionate about contributing to open source, right? So, and these are the things that can make you stand out, right? So you set up your dev environments, you have that solved, then you can then start coding, right? Now look at the process, right? You didn't just go from finding an issue to open the pull request or to start coding, right? You actually follow a process, and that process makes you significant from the rest of the candidates, right? So the next thing, you start coding. So you have your code done, then you open your initial pull request, right? So this is where things get interesting. So a lot of candidates, when they open this initial pull request, they do something that I feel really, 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 really annoys maintainers and code owners of whatever project you're contributing to. The constant ping, right? So because you open a pull request, that doesn't give you the right to start buzzing up maintainers or code owners to review your pull request. No, don't do that. If you are doing that, you're actually jeopardizing your odds of getting accepted, right? So if you don't feel needy when you open a pull request, don't feel needy. Remember that the people maintaining this code are going to see it eventually. They are going to see it. If they're going to see it and they're going to attend to it as soon as possible. And you see a lot of people have all of these pull requests open, and you notice that maintainers or code owners are not responding to your pull requests. What if you are doing things wrong? What if you didn't follow this particular due process I just mentioned? Right? You see how that can even make your pull request, can make maintainers or code owners ignore your pull request. Because of course, you don't forget that these people that are maintaining this project are also humans. They're not robots. They are humans and they have feelings, right? So, and they know what is right and what is wrong. So if you follow the wrong process to open the pull request, you would notice that your pull request will just be there. Like maintainers or code owners would not even respond to it. And it is not because they don't want to respond to it, but it is because they feel you are doing something wrong. Maybe you didn't follow the due process. Maybe you didn't even understand how the process of opening a pull request should be. So if you finally have a pull request open, once you create a pull request, you mention the maintainers, please stop buzzing them, right? Wait for the pull request to be reviewed. If it's going to get reviewed, it's going to get reviewed. It doesn't mean because you're pinging them, your pull request is going to get reviewed magically. No, no. That's not going to be possible. So if you open a pull request, just be patient. right? Be patient, be patient, be patient. It's open source, right? I tell you, I've mentioned it before. These maintainers, these code owners, they have other things they are doing with their time. So you should also know that you have to be patient. So if you have a pull request open, stop buzzing maintainers. Don't do that. Don't spam them. That really pisses them off, and that makes them mark your face. Like they already know you, right? If you do that, they know you, and they would avoid your application. So why do that? Why jeopardize your chances of getting selected for GSoC? So don't do that. If you're doing it already, go stop it. Don't do it. Stop it. So if you have your initial pull request open, wait for them to review it. Once it is reviewed, code review, like add suggested changes if any feedback is provided with you. And do these feedbacks with humility, please. It's really important. Don't say, "Oh, my, why would you say I should do this? This should be the way it is." Please listen to maintainers when they provide feedback for your pull request. They know what's best for the project. You need to always have that at the back of your mind. They know what's best for the project. So if they provide you some feedback, you need to take those feedback with humility. You need to understand why they want you to make these changes. You need to apply these changes, right? And then you go ahead and make some iteration and make some improvement. And that is how you successfully raise a valid pull request, which can get matched, which is the goal for most of you, right? So don't go ahead and start, opening pull requests and pinging maintainers, pinging code owners every 10 minutes because your pull request has not been reviewed. No, don't do that. If you're doing that, you should go stop, right? So that is the thing I want to say about it. Be clear about your process. It's really important you have a clear process to handling these things, right? So yeah. So the next thing I also want to say before I move on is actually concerning issues. So I see a lot of people. So because there is no issue in let's say the repository you're interested in, let's use the conference website for instance, because you're interested in the conference website and you realize there are no issues for you to like fix, then you go ahead to create your own issues. Don't do that. Only open valid issues. Don't say because you are interested and you just start opening issues. I've seen these things countless of times and it pisses me off, right? And I believe it's the same thing for other code owners and other maintainers. So please don't go ahead and start opening unnecessary issues. Only open valid issues, right? Don't say because you want to contribute to GSoC that gives you the right to start opening unnecessary issues. Don't do that. I'm begging you. If you're doing that already, go stop it. That will jeopardize your chances of getting accepted. So let's go to the next thing, which is the biggest part of this live stream: using AI like a menace. I know a lot of you are looking like, what the heck, Ace? What are you saying? But do you want me to tell you something, a brutal and honest truth? So here it is. The most burning questions for mentors this year, not just burning question, the most burning concerns for mentors this year is actually the use of AI, right? So it has never been this crazy before in the history of Google Summer of Code, the use of LLMs. Right now, it's even mind blowing. It's dumb. I don't even know the word to use to qualify it, right? So if you're using AI, and I know you might be like, but Ace, isn't AI supposed to make our life easier? Make the job faster? I mean, you're right, but you can only use it if you know what the job is to begin with, right? So AI is meant to assist you, not to do the job, right? So AI shouldn't replace your thinking. So I see a lot of people. So let me give you a use case, right? So I know it sounds absurd. It sounds really crazy, but it actually happened. So I realized some candidates, some GSoC contributors I was having conversation with, will literally take my message on Slack, like the conversation we're having. They will literally take that message, copy it, paste it to Chat GPT, and then send me back the response from ChatGPT. That is crazy. Like, why would you do that? Why would you use AI to even have a conversation with me? Do you know what that means? That is a red flag, right? That is a red flag. So if you're doing that, you need to stop it, right? You need to really stop it. So using AI for having conversations with mentors, you should really stop it. Some people even go as far as using AI to write their introductory messages. Why would you need AI to introduce yourself? Is that how bad it is? No, come on. So you should really use AI smartly. Let AI help you. Don't depend on it, especially for Google Summer of Code. Because trust me, maintainers can see right through it. They can really see right through it, especially if you're using AI for to create issues. Why would you do that? Why would you use AI to create issues? And that's what I'm saying about unnecessary issues. You need to use AI smartly, right? You need to use AI really smart, especially if you're using AI to write your code. You need to understand the code your these LLMs are generating for you. You really need to understand it. I've seen people open a pull request and you open a pull request and eventually you use AI. And the funny thing is the code is not even compiling in the first place. And I'm like, why are you doing this? So all of this is happening in GSoC this year. So if you really want to stand out, you really need to stop it, right? You need to use it smartly. You need to apply critical thinking when using LLMs. So, because trust me, it is rampant, and that is the most concern mentors have this year. So, if you really want to stand out, you need to use these LLMs tools smartly, right? So, don't going as far as using LLMs to respond to mentors is a big red flag. It is a big red flag. So use them smartly, apply critical thinking, understand the code this AI is giving to you. Does it run? Does it comply? Is it following the best practices? Is it the best way to do it? Don't just copy and paste codes, right? Understand the codes that you are copying and pasting. And the usage of AI LLMs to open issues, don't do it. If you're doing it, you are fucking yourself up real bad. So don't do it. Mentors are on the look for all these things. And trust me, during the application phase, your application would not even be considered in the first place. And you're going to be like, oh, am I doing something wrong? Because you are doing what most every other contributor is doing, right? So it is easy to see it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you are doing it, please stop doing it. If you want to use LLMs the smart way. Don't use it the wrong way, please. So if you're using it to do every nitty-gritty of your GSoC process, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, right? And you don't want that. So you need to use LLMs really, really in a really, really smart way, to be precise. So the next point is you need to understand that GSoC is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So most people used to think, and that is the reason why you see a lot of these spammings, a lot of these unnecessary things that have been done. It's because people think GSoC is just gonna happen and that's it. It is not a sprint. GSoC is a marathon. It's that's why I said it earlier in the stream. It's a way for you to grow through open source. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's a way for you to grow through open source. It's not just because you just want to just want to participate in Google Summer of Code and you're just like rushing and doing everything and fucking everything up in the process, right? You need to understand that GSoC is not a sprint; it is a marathon. And which brings me to my next slide, which is something I love to call start small but think big. It's really important. So a lot of people don't really consider this aspect. So when you come for GSoC, when GSoC is about to happen, most people want to get in, right? That's the goal. Of course, you want to participate in GSoC. So most people want to participate in GSoC, right? And the end goal is for you to get accepted. But if you look at the numbers, like the odds that you're going to get accepted is the same as the rest of the candidates, right? And they are limited slots. So you need to start small and think big. So don't join the bandwagon of folks that are always trying to, mess things up just for the sake of GSoC. You need to start thinking critical. You need to start small. So, and what I mean by start small is also means this also like means you go into a project. You look for a project. Let's say, for instance, you're interested in async KPI, for instance, right? So you should go to the async KPI organization, look for the list of repositories, look for the ones that really catches your interest, right? The one that matches your skill set. So if you find the one that matches your skill set, this could be one, this could be two, it's even important for you to know that this project could even be projects that are not included in GSoC. So because you need to understand, like async KPI, for instance, has a lot of projects, right? So, but all of these projects are not part of GSoC. But does that mean this project donate contributions? No, of course they need contributions. They don't just make it to GSoC, but that doesn't mean they don't need contributions, right? So you can also like go to these projects that are not part of GSoC. Look at them. Start small by solving these good first issues, understand the code, improving documentations, doing these little contributions. And at the end of the day, what these little contributions help you does, it helps you establish good relationship with the mentors or the maintainers of these programs. That even if you did not get accepted into GSoC, you are going to be given other opportunities. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not just GSoC, and you don't have to like fuck things up just for the sake of GSoC. You need to start small and think big. And when I say think big, you need to think about the impact that open source contribution can have in your career in the long term, right? In long term, open source can really impact your career miraculously in ways you cannot believe, right? So if you are here for GSoC, it's good, it's a good thing, but you need to think big, right? You need to also like think about the other factors that open source can really help your career in. So, which brings me to the next slide, which is writing an excellent proposal. I know a lot of you really want this part. You really want to hear this part, and here it is. Writing an excellent proposal is a big thing, and I also mentioned that you need to figure out how much you want to invest in your. It's really important, right? So don't just go ahead and write the proposal. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. You also need to figure out how much time you want to invest. Mentors really appreciate this. So if you in your proposal you really specify how much time you want to invest every week, it's really important for mentors. So mentors can definitely also plan their time, their own schedule around your hours, right? The amount of time you want to invest in this particular project if you have been selected. So having that particular point highlighted is really key. It is really, really key. So I think I missed a slide. Let me go back. Okay. Oops. Okay, so how much time you need to invest, and the next thing is you need to understand that I know this sounds really ridiculous, but you're not special, right? So I mean, not of course you're special, everyone is special, but in terms of Google Summer of Code, you're not special. You're just like every other interested contributor or every other interested candidate, right? You're not special, you're just like everyone else. So I see this, and the reason why I literally like added this is because I noticed some people or some contributors started doing some sort of gatekeeping. Don't do that. You have no right to gatekeep a particular project because you are the first to show interest in the project, or you're the first to come up to the proposal. You're the first to do whatever it is you are doing for that particular project. Doesn't automatically mean you get selected for the project. Of course not. That doesn't mean you get selected for the project. So you're not special. You're literally the same as every other candidate. So if you have this mindset of gatekeeping the rest of GSoC contributors, just because you, let's say for example, you've been in the community for longer, for a longer period of time, even before other GSoC contributors, that doesn't mean you are going to get accepted for the project, right? So you need to stop it. If you're already doing some sort of gatekeeping, please stop it. You are not special. You're just like every other candidate. So here, I'm going to share like 2 quick tips for writing that can really help you improve your proposal. And I know you don't want to hear it, but this is the truth. And this tip number 1 is actually avoid using AI for your project requirements. If you're doing this, or if you plan on doing this, please stop. Don't do it. It's really, really bad, and it's really going to jeopardize your application. So you can actually use AI to for other aspects of your application. I don't think that's a big deal, but for technical requirement for that particular project, using AI will really jeopardize the application, because you also need to understand that a lot of people are also going to be using AI. So which means for some really weird reasons, your application or your proposal is going to be somehow similar to other contributors proposals, right? So you should really avoid using AI for your project requirements, the technical aspect. You need to understand the project. You need to come up with every nitty gritty of how or the requirements you're going to use to actually contribute to a particular project. So avoid using AI for your project requirements. If you're doing it or if you plan on doing it, stop it. Don't do it. And then the second part is also to avoid using AI for your project timeline. You need to be realistic. This is our actually realistic part. This has to come from you, and that is why I said you need to communicate about how much time you want to spend, which brings me back to this time. That's it. Figure out how much you want to invest. So if you figure out if you have already figured out how much you want to invest, then I think figuring out your project timeline should not be an issue. You shouldn't need AI to write your timeline for you. Why should AI even write your timeline for you? Why? I mean, it's your timeline. You need to figure it out yourself. How you plan to, delegate tasks, how you plan to approach this particular issue or this particular project is based on you, not AI. So avoid using AI for your project timeline if you really want to submit an outstanding GSoC proposal. And the another thing is don't be discouraged to ask for feedback. So if you have submitted a proposal for review, and trust me, the earlier you start, the better, right? So you can have enough time to refine your proposals. So don't be discouraged to ask for feedbacks. You can reach out to me to review your proposals. You can reach out to me on Slack. I'm really happy to help. So if you are submitting proposals for review, don't be discouraged to ask for feedback, right? So if I review your proposal and I tell you it's good, you can still ask me for feedback, like how can you improve it? I can basically tell you that. So don't be discouraged to ask for feedback when reviewing proposals, really important. And then the final part of the slides is actually you are the community. You are really the community. So as you know, especially at Assistant KPI, we are community driven. So we value every contributions, we value every member of the community, both the old ones and the new ones, and every single one of you. We really value your contributions, which is why we are even having this stream in the first place. So we can connect with interested contributors and make meaningful Google Summer of Code experience. So you are the community. So don't be scared to actually participate in any community engagements. So I'm too lazy to actually replace some of these pictures. So you can see some of us are paired twice. So yeah, so this just a picture, nothing else. So you're the community, you join all these amazing folk in the community, participate in community engagement. These are things that would make you also like stand out because people would notice you. You want to be noticed the right way, not the wrong way. So familiarize yourself with the environment. So understand how to communicate on Slack, understand the necessary channels, what this channel does, what that channel does, how to communicate, how to reach out. It's really important for you to familiarize yourself with the environment. Don't just jumping all around like a pendulum bob. So don't do that. Familiarize yourself with the environment, reach out to the right people, and then attend community meetings and talks. So if you haven't been doing this, I would encourage you to actually do this, right? So you should attend community meetings and talks. You should be active. We used to host a bi-weekly community meetings. We have a marketing meeting. We have a design meeting. We have all of these incredible meetings where you can join and then, share your opinion, right? And the fun thing about these meetings is everyone's opinion counts, everyone's voice is heard. So if you really want to stand out in GSoC, also you need to also attend some of these meetings, right? You need to show how much interest you have, not just in GSoC but in the community, right? And that is what mentors are mostly looking for, people that are really passionate about open source, right? So attend community meetings and talks. We have all of this happening. You can go to the Async API event. Let me quickly share a link. Okay, I can't do that because my keyboard is dead. So I'm going to share a link before the end of the stream. So, but if you want to check it out, you can go to asyncapi.com/community/events. So you can see all of the events happening, both the ones that are scheduled, both the past ones and the upcoming ones. So feel free to check it out. And also you can also subscribe to the AsyncAPI calendar to get reminders. So feel free to check it out. Attend community meetings and talks. And then speak up in these meetings. It's really important. Don't be a ghost, right? Don't be a ghost, guys. So speak up in these meetings. If you are attending, especially the community meetings, where we say a lot of community related stuff, feel free to speak. Please speak up, right? So don't just attend community meetings as a ghost. If you say something that's sparked your interest, raise your voice, raise your hand, speak, engage. I mean, that's the whole point of community. It's collaboration. It's all being a collaboration. So speak up in these meetings, and it's important to be pals with community folks, right? And you can see how I was able to recognize some of you, some of existing contributors, just straight from YouTube. I was able to do that because I really communicate with these people. I know them. They also communicate efficiently in the community. So be pals with community folks, right? Don't be a lone wolf. I mean, the whole point is for you to make meaningful contributions, right? So reach out to some really amazing people, especially if you're coming for GSoC, right? We also have other contributors or other community members that are past GSoC participants, right? Some of them are maintainers, some of them are mentors. Reach out to these people, talk to them, figure out how you can help them, not just because of GSoC, but how you can even help them, contribute to the community, how you can, some of these people have ideas, they have opinions, right? So reach out to them, make friends. I mean, you never know who's going to be your friend for life or who's going to help you. So be part of this community, folks, and I trust you. And I promise you, everyone in the Thinkpad community are really amazing folks. So I'm really giving you that. So be part of this community with other community folks. And don't forget to have fun and ask questions. So it's really important to you ask questions. And I told you earlier, if you want to ask questions, please ask valid questions and ask in the appropriate channels. So don't ask unnecessary questions. Don't ask questions you could basically get answer to with a basic Google search. Please ask really, really outstanding questions that would really spark the interest of whoever it is that is interested in responding to these questions. And yeah, have fun. It's open source. Have fun. Don't take it too serious. Life's not that serious. So have fun while doing it. Yeah, so I believe that is the end of the slide. So question and answer. So if you have these questions, keep these questions coming. So let me scroll up. And then start answering some of these questions we already have. Okay. Let's see. What do I start from? There's a lot of questions, folks. Okay, where do we start from? Okay. So we have a question from Sonali. How much influence does pull request does for selecting the GSoC candidate? How much influence does pull request does for selecting? So I mean, it doesn't. When I say pull request, you remember how I said making really outstanding contribution, right? So if you open a bunch of pull requests that are not what maintenance time or pull requests that are not worthy of it, you are really jeopardizing your odds of getting selected, right? So if you want to, of course, pull requests influence your chances of getting selected because that means you are already familiar with open source contributions. You know the process of opening a pull request. You understand the whole process of contributing to a project, right? It does influence your chances of getting selected for GSoC, but you also need to understand that it is not about the quantity, but rather than the quality, right? So it's not about the quantity of a pull request, it's about the quality of a pull request. So that is what actually influences your chances of getting selected for GSoC. So Sonali, I hope that really answers the question. It's not about the quantity, it's not about how many pull requests you open, it's about the quality of the pull requests you open. So you might even, look at it this way, Sonali. So if you open one pull request that gets merged that actually has an impact, you can even you have the chances of getting selected than someone with 5 pull requests that just fixes a typo. So it's about the quality, not the quantity. So if you want to open a pull request, you need to prioritize quality over quantity. So another question we have is, okay, Payao, I hope I already answered your question in the stream. What's your biggest piece of advice for someone aiming to get selected in GSoC under a sync API? I've already gone through some of this list, the best practices, some ways for you to get accepted, some things you should do, the do's and don't do's. So I hope you find the answer there. And if you haven't, feel free to let me know in the chat. And then we have Sahil helping in code reviews, reporting issues, helping others to get started with contribution count. Exactly, that actually counts as a contribution. And that's what I'm saying. It's not just about opening a pull request, it's actually about being part of the community, being active, making impactful contributions. So helping in code reviews, reporting issues, helping others get started with contribution, they all count as contributions. I mean, of course, they are contributions, right? So, Sahil, that is actually a really good question. So, if you are helping in code review, if you're reporting issues, and to lay emphasis on issue reporting, please don't report any kind of issue, right? You need to report valid issues, really, really valid issues, not any kind of issue. So, yeah, that kind of the contribution, Sahil. So we have another question. I'm interested in Java plus Quarkus template for async generator project. There is not much info about it. Can you please give me more information about this? Sasi Raj, really good question. So if there is not enough information about the project, you can actually leave a comment in the project, in the project description, asking for more information about the project. I think you can do that. I'm not mentoring this project, so I can't really provide an answer about this, but I would advise you to go to the issue description and then leave a comment. I hope that helps. So we have AZ. For contributions, is there a unique system to be used, like Ubuntu Unix system or Windows system? No, no. All you just need is access to the internet, and I would say I'm biased, but I'll say VS Code. So I mean, you can use any ID of your choice. Just have a functioning laptop that works. It doesn't matter which operating system is on it. It could be Windows, it could be Mac, it could be Linux, whatever it is that works for you, whatever rocks your boat. Is it? So the most important thing is you can actually make contribution. Uh, so we have Paya. Okay, thanks, Ace. Then we have Sahil. I have solved more issues in website and conf website repo than CLI, but I'm interested in CLI for GSoC. Does this mean I have less chance of getting shortlisted? No, 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 Sahil. I already mentioned this before, right? So it doesn't mean because you did not have enough contribution to a specific project idea or a specific repo, it doesn't reduce your chances of getting selected. It doesn't at all. So what this actually does is even improves your odds of getting selected. So because you've contributed to other repositories, you've contributed to other projects within the organization. I mean, you already got noticed. You've already have really good contributions, right? You have impactful contributions, so you can still go ahead and then apply for the projects. It's really important, and you can get selected. I mean, I'm not promising you that, but that will also like that. That is even nothing, right? So it would not jeopardize the risk of getting selected for the CLI projects. In fact, it would even increase your chances of getting selected because now mentors or maintainers or code owners can see that, this person actually has made some contributions to other repositories. So it's pretty obvious that he would be a good candidate to work on a particular project he's interested in, right? In as much as you are familiar with technology being used in a particular project. I hope that's really answered the question, Sahil. And then we have okay, Ayush. Okay, Ayush already even answered. So Ayush is also I think Ayush is gonna be co-mentoring for the project. I said, Sai, feel free to create proposal on CLI project. Don't worry on the number of issues. Your thought and ideas matters that you can show in proposal. Exactly. So Sahil, you don't have to worry about that. Let's see which other question. AI is best used when used as an assistant, not a master book. Exactly. That is really important. So if you're using AI, oh my God, I think I want to steal your quote, Sina. AI is best used when you use it as an assistant, not as a master book. So don't let AI do the thinking for you. Let AI assist you. Don't let it do the whole thinking for you. You should also do the whole thinking and let AI just be an assistant to you. So we have Sonali, is using cursor ID allowed to use? I'm saying it, we are not against any LLM. But it's important. We at Think API, we're not against the use of it. I mean, I use it. I wouldn't say I'm not using it, but you need to use it smartly, right? You shouldn't use it to do everything. You need to, and Sahil already, as in Sahil, Sinha already mentioned that you should not let it be your master book. Let it be an assistant, right? Don't use AI throughout your proposal. Don't use AI throughout your project. No, don't use AI to write your code when you don't even understand how the code runs, what the AI is even spitting to you. Is it safe code? Is it not safe code? Is it bad practice? Is it not bad? You have no clue because you don't even understand what you're doing in the first place. So if you're using AI, you need to understand the how you're going to use it. It's really important. So don't use it as a master book, use it as an assistant. So, which other question do we have? As a mentor, what qualities do you look for in an ideal digital contributor? Or how can contributors make a strong impression while working on a single pair project? I already mentioned some of these points. Me personally, as a mentor, the most important thing I'm always looking for in mentees that they really use to spark my interest is actually communication. I really love mentees that can communicate effectively, right? They have an issue, they've done their research, they understand it, have a question, they reach out to me, they're really articulate, right? That's what I'm always looking for in a mentor. So I don't want rogue contributors, people that stand out, people that really understand the project. So you need to show your understanding of the project and don't also just go ahead and start opening a bunch of pull requests and creating a bunch of issues just to get noticed. No, I really love mentees or contributors that are really curious, that want to learn. I mean, if you want to learn, it's going to be easy to even say you want to learn because we can see through all of this because we are mentors. So it's really easy. So Paya, for me personally, I'm going to look for candidate that is really curious, that really love open source, that shows the interest in contributing to open source, right? So, and by that, you're going to follow like most of the best practices I mentioned earlier in the stream. Also, you'd have gone through the code contributing guide. You would understand the Slack etiquette, so you would know how to, handle these things, how to communicate effectively in the organization. So it's really important. So that's some of the things I would be looking for in my contributors. So as I said, if one is selected in GSoC, do we work on projects singly or in teams handling issues and PRs? So I'm quite confused about your question. Let me see. If one is selected in GSoC, do we work on projects singly or in teams and then issues and pull requests? So it depends on the project context. Let's say, for instance, you are working on the generator project, which is a part of maintainership, which the goal of this project is for you to become a maintainer of that particular project at the end of your experience with this KPI. Then you would not be working alone. Of course, you have your mentor. So your mentor will be reviewing your work. You'll be working alongside your mentor, which is the whole essence of having a mentor, right? You can't just work on your own. So you're going to work with the mentors. Mentors are going to delegate tasks to you. So it's not really like in teams because this is open source. We don't really have like a team working on something. So it's open source. So things are done differently. So you're going to be working strictly with your mentor, and then that's just it. So you have another question that says, I reproduced the single pair repository and I found out some of the dependencies are outdated and depreciated. So the first thing you want to do is create issues for this particular thing and then wait for code owners to say if this is a valid issue or not. I say that's my answer for that. That's just my answer for that. So don't go ahead and open a pull request bumping these dependencies. No, don't do that. So what you want to do is create an issue outlining this particular thing, and then wait for the code owners to share that 1% about the issue. So that's my response for your question. And then let's see, do we have another question? So AAs, can you give some tips regarding maintenance projects? So what do you mean mentorship projects? You need to be specific. Are you talking about the SNKPI mentorship program or the SNKPI Google Summer of Code? I need to know which one you're talking about. Okay, so we have another question from Sinha. Does contributing to more than one repo, which overall covers a wide variety of domain, helps differentiate someone? Yes, I actually mentioned this. Yes, that actually differentiates you. That actually shows your capability to contribute to various projects, right? So that actually makes you stand out. So if you can go to the SQL repositories, check out some really awesome tools we have, look for really good first issues or enhancements, and just contribute, right? That will make you stand out. For many, a question was, can multiple participants a question for many, can multiple participants work with a single project under GSoC? As we've seen, some organizations give multiple contributors for a single project. What is about KPI? Oh, yes. So we actually did it last year. We actually did it last year. So we haven't, so let me break it down. So we did it last year that we had two contributors got selected for GSoC for one project, right? So it's possible. We did it last year, but we don't have that requirement this year. So we did last year for the generator projects. You can go to the KPI blog and look out for the GSoC summary for last year. So we did last year. It's all documented. You can check it out. So we did it for the generator projects under Lucas. So we had two contributors contribute to one single project because we had the bandwidth for that, because we had enough slots for that last year. But this year, we don't have any project that requires that at the moment, and we don't really have. We didn't factor that in this year, so it's not going to be happening this year, Rohit, but it happened last year. So a funny question: can we participate in the Singapore conference in India? I'm from India because I'm very excited to participate like a member of SNKPI. So this is GSoC. So for that discussion, I would advise you to join the next community meeting. So I think there's gonna be some conference agenda on it. So Rohit, you can bring up this conversation up in the next community meeting, which is something I said also. It's also part of contribution, participating in community meetings, sharing your 1%, having conversation, asking questions. So this is some of the things I'm saying. So you can join the SNKPI community meeting, which I believe should happen in 2 weeks, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, keep an eye out, Rohit. I'll be there also. So another question we have is, I suppose it's good if someone contributes to more than one repo or org. It just shows how best you are not just in coding, but also in communication and understanding of rules. Exactly. I totally agree with you, Saint. Thanks for the tip. So we have a question from Adi. Hey, Ace, can you give advice for proposal for maintainership idea, like becoming a maintainer of a SQL generator? Because these ideas are different and unique from other acts, from other project ideas. Yeah, exactly. It's really, really different. I also did some of this maintainership project idea for the Syncipy conference, which also yielded to us having a new maintainer, Ashmit, who has been doing a great job. Advice for proposal for maintainership idea. So what my advice would be is, I mean, just follow the basic ideas I already mentioned earlier. Avoid the usage of AI for writing your project requirement and your project timeline. Don't do that. And yeah, ask for feedback. Start early. So it's really important for you to start early, Adi, especially if you're interested in the maintainership program, the executive generator. Before you even start writing your proposal, I think you also need to show an understanding of the project itself, Adi. So before you start writing a proposal, you need to show an understanding of the project. You need to start contributing to the project, because now the generator maintainership project isn't just like any other project. It's actually a part to being a maintainer, right? So it's different from other GSoC proposals. So you need to be really, really articulate about that. So you also need to show the understanding of the project, which is something the mentor is really looking for. You need to have an understanding of the project. You need to start contributing to the project, not just code contribution. You can also like do some documentation contributions to the project, right? Just to show your understanding of the project before you then go ahead and start working on your proposal. And Adi, you can reach out to me on Slack if you're interested in, if you want me to help you review your proposals. But before you start writing your proposal, I would advise you to have an understanding of the project first and start making, contributions to the project. So we have another question. Is when can we submit our proposal for review? You can actually join me on Slack. I'll be actively reviewing proposals. Just send me your proposal. I will start reviewing it. Just send me. I'm going to review proposal. So if you want help with your proposal, you can reach out to me. I can help you review your proposals and provide you with feedback. But you also need to know I will be doing that in my free time. So don't boss me. I'm going to help you. So let's see what other question do we have. how to start contributing. Aaron, you should go check out our contribution guide. We have it already. So we have Tens Edit. I think I know this. I know you. I think Tenzin, you were part of the conference contributors. Hey, it's Tenzin here. I have been actively contributing to conference website and considering to apply for GSoC. What are some factors I should consider to maximize my chances? I think for you, Des, I think you're already doing great already. I mean, I could really remember you from the community. I mean, for the conference website, you've done really amazing contributions. So I would just say for you to keep doing what you're already doing. So just keep doing it, and then I'll be looking forward to seeing your application, Tenzin. And if you want me to also like help you review a proposal, I mean, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you. Um, okay, we have. Oh, I have a comment. Hey, Ace, you look much better without the mask. I'm certainly less serious. Yeah, I'm really not a serious person. So I joke a lot. So if you have any other question, please feel free to reach out to me on Slack. Join us on Slack at skpi.com. You can go to our skpi website, skpi.com. Join us on Slack, and I'll be looking forward to your questions. If you want me to help you review your proposals, feel free to reach out to me. And if you also have any question, feel free to ask me. I'm active. I'm happy to help you. But don't forget, you need to follow some of these tips and guidelines I've shared in this stream. It will really help you experience the best out of Google Summer of Code 2025. So without any further ado, I believe that should be the end of today's stream. So for future live streams, you can go to isyncopia.com/community/events. So you can see all the streams that are going to be scheduled, the meetings, the events that are going to be available. And if you have any suggestions or you have any ideas, you can go to our GitHub discussion and create a discussion there. Feel free to ping me. I'll be happy to jump on this discussion or to discuss your ideas. So if you have any further question, feel free to let me know. Else, that will be the end of today's video. And you should also keep an eye out. I will be publishing a video on Monday about my 5 tips. Some of these tips I've already gone through it here, but I'm gonna create a video for you, so you can also go check out the video. So keep an eye out on Monday. I will be publishing a new video about GSoC experience, where I'll be sharing my 5 tips to experiencing the best out of GSoC. So we have a question that says, "Hey, Ace, can we submit proposal to only one project, or we can submit to more than one?" I think you can submit to more than one. I think you have the opportunity to submit to 2 projects. I think 2 projects max, 3 projects. I'm not sure, but you can check out the. I mean, it's important you go through the Google Summer of Code rules. It's really important for you to check it out to even be sure if even if you're eligible for this program, right? So go to the Google Summer of Code rules. I think you would find all of this there. So yeah, you can, but I know you can submit more than one project. So yeah. Okay, yeah. So it's 3 marks, yeah, 3 marks projects. Thanks to you, Singh. That was really helpful. Any other question before we call it a day? I'm still willing to stay for extra 5 minutes if anyone wants to ask any question. Else we have to call it a day. And yes, I think you can submit up to 3 proposals in same or different organizations. Yes. So I'm really sure just 3. You can submit more than 3 proposals. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it a day. Thank you all for joining this live stream. I hope it was really, really insightful. And I wish you the best of luck in this Google Summer of Code program. So for further information, I'm going to be posting on LinkedIn after the stream for every necessary information I need to share with interested candidates. And if you're not on LinkedIn, join us on Slack. We're going to be sharing a lot of this information for GSoC, because at the end of the day, we wanted to experience the best GSoC with us at the Sync API. So I think we can call it a day. Thank you for joining, and I hope to see you in the next event. Have fun, folks.